Welcome to Tour de Forge. Today we are working with Theo Nazz in his shop in Red Hook, Brooklyn. So let's head inside and meet him.
Welcome to the shop.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the shop.
It's Theo. Yeah, thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
We're really excited to do some forging with you today and get a look around your shop and do an interview with you later on.
This is a bit of a trip for you, but I appreciate you making it.
Very first Tour de Forge with you. Very first, yeah, it's amazing. We're very happy
Kick it off with a bit of a bag.
Sounds good.
Put some points on some pieces of steel. And eventually maybe you guys can turn them into knives as you make your tour around.
Awesome. That'd be a great idea, actually. That'd be
good. We'll start in the forging area. Obviously we have our forge itself, powered by propane, and our hammers, anvils, tongs, etc. for forging. We'll move over to heat treat, the computer-controlled kiln, oil quench tank, and next to it we have our first of two grinders. I had to get an extra one, too many students. And here we have the kind of fit, finish, and assembly area, as well as the work tables that are over there. You can see someone's putting the handle together. And yeah, it's a pretty straightforward shop, relatively small. New York City is a bit confined. So we have quite a bit in a tiny little space. Yeah, but I'm proud of it. So this is a hay button anvil, made in Brooklyn quite a while ago. Belongs to a good friend of mine who occasionally uses the forge, and we'll be forging on that today. And then here's a little piece of history as well. We have an anvil from Peter Stuyvesant's basement in East Village. The current owner had no use for it, so he donated it to the shop. And we make very good use of it. So today we'll be forging ADCRV2, which is one of my favorite alloys. I use it in nearly all of my blades, depending on what I'm making. It is a very good tool steel for knife making and swordsmithing, and I think for beginners as well, it is a bit forgiving. Some steels, you hit them at the wrong temperature, they're done. This has a little bit of leeway with that, so it's ideal for beginners. Let's talk briefly about why we're forging this weird way. You can imagine that with this bar, if we started just by hammering in here against the anvil face, right? The intent would be to just reduce this so it comes and ends up like the edge of a knife, but that's not really what happens. What ends up happening is you get a bit of a crimpling effect, right? Where the impacts from here spread this material out a little bit, right? And the anvil backing it from the other side also spreads it out a little bit. So you get this kind of crinkling effect that eventually turns into what we call fish mouth, right? And you get this weird fold over. So, to avoid that, we take it to the edge of the anvil, right? This is the anvil here. Right? And we're going to deliver a couple hammer blows this direction, and it's going to put a notch in our steel, but also push some of that forward, right? And that way we can begin with a piece of steel that has a leading edge, or leading tip I should say, that we can continue to push out, and also deliver hammer blows to push and round off this backside. Right? So there is a method to the madness we're about to perform. It just seems very strange at first, and almost illogical. Yeah, so I've been doing this a while. I'm allowed to forge in shorts, no gloves. You guys are not, right? After a couple of years, we can talk again about it, but right? So I'm just going to come in, right? And basically give myself a little catch there, right? And that way, when my steel is hot enough again, right, I can kind of hook it on the edge of the anvil, right, and deliver some angled hammer blows that's going to encourage this to become our actual point. All right, we can make that notch a little bit deeper. It doesn't need to be quite as shallow as mine. But why don't we have you guys grab the steel and you can start on yours. Just be careful not to knock anyone else's off the rest. And remember, if it falls, let it go. Alright, so you're the middle slot? Yep. Good. So lift your tall arm a little bit more. There you go. Good. That's alright. Oh, careful. I want you to stay on that notch if you can. There you go. See? Good. We're going to stop there. You see how shadows are starting to creep into the steel? We're going to stop right there, but that notch looks good. Let's go back in the forge. Good. Raise your left arm a little bit. There you go. Good. Good. Oh, you're wandering forward. There you go. Nice. Good. Let's go back into forge. It's coming along. You guys see how we're getting a little bit of thickening on top, right? Because our hammer blows are spreading that material in every direction all at once, right? The other very common saying in knife making or blacksmithing in general is 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? You'll do something to get it into position, you'll do another step, and then your third one is going to be undoing with the second one messed up with the first one.
Like a slide puzzle?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. To get the pieces to work, yeah, a little bit back and forth. Alright, so now I got that notch in there, I can come around. Alright, I got a little bit of thickness building up. Right, now if I wanted to speed up the process, I could also catch it here, right? The problem is I would need a deeper notch to really grab the edge of the anvil. The anvil itself is well-rounded corners. Alright, catch that on the edge. A little bit of flattening on that. You can see I'm sort of varying the angle of my hammer blows. Oh, that's too cool. Right, so that I get a little bit of roundness to it, right? So I can strike going back and forth, right? And it kind of just encourages the beginning of what could be the spine or belly of the knife. And at this point, the point can be directed to go either direction by literally just bending the steel, right? So once we have it moved from a rectangle to a triangle, we can then just bend the triangle back and forth to get it placed the way that we want aesthetically. Now I'm at the stage where I can probably just come in and nose that down, right? There's obviously angles that we can deliver hammer blows at, right? Tilting the hammer. But then also, if we're coming straight down, or if we're adding a little glance to it, right? So in this case, I'm going to glance off in an attempt to straighten it out faster. Good. A little bit more angle this way. Yeah. Good. Nice. 1 second, don't go back in the forge just yet. What you did was you stole the radius of the anvil into that bottom side, making what was a sharp corner for the notch into that radius, right? So now, come to the face, and then rotate the other side up. And now you can use those glancing blows. Okay. Right? Yeah. Now that we have that notch taken care of. Okay. That's it.
This point.
Yeah, so I want you to glance, right? Do those glancing blows to get that tip. Come a little closer to me. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Get your foot around the other side of the leg. There you go. That's going to be easier. bladesmiths, as well as locksmiths and all the other.
Now we're going back down to the city though.
Yes, but I want you to lift up, right?
Yep.
And your hammer blows are going to be glancing off, right, to encourage that nose to come down. It's all right. There you go. Takes a little practice. So one thing, I don't want you to think of it as if you're knocking the tip off.
Yeah.
You're
Side swing.
side swiping it. Yeah, there you go. Treat it like a Tinder date. Good. Come a little closer to the anvil so you're not hitting the hammer. Good. Nice. Good. Yeah. Alright, so let's get that point started. Alright, back in the forge. Good. So, angled from here. Yeah. Good. But let's go back in the forge. Put that foot around so you're a little bit.
Right here?
Yeah. Yeah. Dump off the top of the hammer. There you go. Even more angle. There you go. Yeah, your left arm isn't doing nothing. It's holding it still. Nice. There you go. Yep, you got it. So, on your next heat, I want you to flip over, right? Kind of, you have to lift this up at almost 45 and hit it right there, and that's going to nose that forward, right? And then you're going to have your point.
Okay.
I like the idea of this being a continual thing for you guys, because it's going to take on an evolution that I couldn't have predicted. It's a pretty good idea, Theo.
Yeah, that was great.
Yep.
Right here?
Raise your tongue end. There you go, yeah. Nice, good. Good. See how it's like just barely off the edge? Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Good. On your next heat, just flatten that for me and let's see what it looks like.
Okay.
Hit the very tip of it as well. Yes, exactly. Good, yeah.
That's good.
That looks like a point.
Yep.
Do you want one more pass at it or are you happy?
I think it's fine.
Nicely done, guys.
So that was our first episode of Tour de Forge with Theo Nazz. Thanks again for the lesson, and we look forward to being able to develop these into full knives, and thank you for the idea for that, because
My pleasure.
we had no idea what we were planning when we were going to come here and start forging. So that's the episode. Thanks again for watching.